Welcome to the ELKSHAPE podcast. This is the last podcast for me before I head out to go elk hunting. Cannot believe it's almost here. It's been quite the journey since last season. And today we're going to go over my hunt schedule for elk and try to break down kind of how I'm going to approach it, some of my goals, some of my expectations, and some of my concerns. So this will be, I think this is my 25th year elk hunting. I have to do the math. I'm not sure. So I started, my first year ever was 2001 with a rifle. So 2002 was my first year with a bow, and this is 2025. So a little shy of that. But this year, I finally decided where I'm going to hunt in Idaho. And so I went ahead and bought my elk tag as a resident, which is great. The area that I'm going to is somewhere that I did not get cameras out this summer when I went scouting for elk. So all the cameras I put out this summer before Montana Attack are going to be soakers. So if they don't get jacked or stolen, they'll just be cameras that do inventory for me. I'm going to an area that I have hunted before, but it's been a long time. And quite honestly, I'm not too worried about giving away exact areas, but I do have to be concerned about grizzly bears where I'm going. So, first and foremost, I'll have bear spray on the side of my backpack, and then underneath my marsupial, at the very bottom, that attachment that marsupial makes will be a spot for my X10 compact. It's a P320 from SIG. And I do have buffalo boar rounds in there, and the magazine holds, I think, 15. And I don't walk around with one in. I keep the chamber empty. So I do have to click, clack. But that is my only concern solo elk hunting, is that area in the mornings in the dark, in the evenings in the dark. But it's nothing bad like Wyoming or somewhere in the Wyoming backcountry where it's not even worth hunting evenings. So I will be in bear country. My plan is to lock in on a couple of water sources in the opening weekend. Actually, I think it's August 30th. I can't remember the exact day that falls on, but it's August 30th. So when I get down there on, I think the 29th, I'll be getting there really early in the morning. I'll leave probably about 3 in the morning on the 28th. I'm sorry. I'll probably leave about 3 in the morning on the 29th, get there somewhere around 11 or 12. And so I'll have the hot part of the day to do a little bit of boots on the ground. I'm going to go check 2 water holes, and I'm just going to go look for tracks and sign, and then try to decipher which one to hunt opening morning. And I may end up doing 1 water hole in the morning and then another one in the evening, like split up. But my favorite one that I have picked out, I will not hunt until the evening of opening day, just because I don't want my scent in there in the morning. The elk have been known to get water there in the mornings, but they have a wind advantage. And then in the evenings when they come down, they don't have as good a wind advantage. And so I don't want to bump them. If they come in opening day in the morning, they'd probably smell me. So I'm going to stay out of that area. And then in the evening, I'll come in and get up in my saddle from Latitude and try to pinch on them. And I didn't set up right over the water hole. I'm going to set up about 150 yards away, but it will be the main trail they take. I did some reverse engineering years ago and kind of figured out how they approach that water. And I think if I back off from the water a little bit, I'm going to catch these elk purely in like a transitional trail. So their gait will be pretty fast. I'll have to probably cow call, stop and shoot, but it's, from what I remember, I just remember it being very pinchy, and I had several shooting lanes, and I kind of had eyeballed trees in the past. So the nice thing with the saddles, I can just kind of assess on the fly. The other water hole, I got to check about to see the tracks, if there's still water there. It's a really high water source, and I imagine it'll be good. I think the sign will be pretty prevalent, and I'm going to have to honestly figure out how to get to this water hole in the morning in the dark without bumping elk. And so that's for me to figure out and sort through. Down over here, I still have two other places to glass evenings. That's why on the evening of the 29th, I have a specific glassing point that I want to get to where I can glass two main mountains and see which way the elk are coming down. And it's not a matter of if I'm going to see elk. I'm going to see elk. I just want to see where are they coming down the day before the opener, and I may hunt those elk opening day in the morning in transition without a saddle. So I'm pretty excited, and I'm pretty honed in on that program that I'm going to run for probably the first 4 or 5 days of season. So those are very boring days, to be quite honest. Like, there's nothing happening middle of the day. I am literally ambush hunting elk through pinch points and funnels. So most likely elevated position, but there are opportunities where I can just hunker down against a tree and no calling, nothing like that. And that is my plan for the first 5 days of season. And then once those 5 days go by, my program gets messed up a little bit with the bulls kind of starting to leave the higher country, head lower ground to see where, to scoop cows up, quite honestly. So in this particular area in Idaho, historically speaking, I've never seen elk really with cows opening day. The bulls are all separated. They're not bastard up, but they're not quite scooped up cows. That could change. That's always like something you just have to assess. But the cows are certainly almost always lower. And that's why we really scout those nurseries out. And so bulls should be heading down to cows around the 5th, 6th in this particular area. And then we'll have to shift, and I'll shift probably to a different side of the unit to where a couple areas I know they rut pretty good. And when I get there, the bulls could just be showing up, and that could be good for like bulls trying to figure out who's the man. They're sorting it out. They're bugling a lot. Cow calls work well, or just letting them talk trash to each other and sneak in. And then also I need to assess on that rutting ground side, what's the water looking like? Seriously, I got to figure out how much water's in the creeks. Some of the ponds, are they low? Are they dry? It's year to year. I've been checking precipitation every week and seeing if there's any accumulation. And I'm also checking radar every day to see what thunder boomers show up and if it's dry lightning, fire potential, all that stuff. Because fires will change your plans. Some of you listening right now, you will have a fire change your plan, and you have to have backup plans. In this stage of the game, I am running through Onyx and Google Earth, one on each screen. This is probably like my 5th or 6th sweep of an area on my e-scouting notes, freshening up my memory on where I wanted to park, how I wanted to approach, where I could potentially glass, where I can get water, where I could spike camp out, things like that. So if I haven't killed an elk by the 7th, I should be on the completely different side of the unit, which is great. And then I will hunt that until I have to leave, which is, I believe, September 13th. The evening of September 13th is my last day. I got to jam out and head south to meet my dad in New Mexico. We drew New Mexico, so these aren't landowner tags, and we didn't draw like crazy special unit. I've never hunted this unit. I have camped in this unit. I have heard bulls bugling in this unit while camping. And so we'll have to see. And this hunt for me is really short. I only have the 15th through the 20th. And this tag goes the 15th through the 24th, I believe. So got a big ask there, but I'm hoping to not only get an elk on the ground, but help my dad get an elk on the ground in 5 days. It's going to be tough. The unit has a ton of roads, so it's going to be a lot of just, honestly, gypsy, mobile hunting, night bugling, camping on elk wherever we hear them, and moving camps a lot. So I think I'm going to take my truck. No trailer this year is my goal. We'll see if that works out, but like no utility trailer, which means I'm a little bit more nimble, and I'm going to have a dirt bike as my mode of transportation, even for roads. And what that will mean is like a hitch. I'll just plug in this hitch for my dirt bike, which kind of cock blocks my access to the back of my truck. So anything vitally important will be kind of in the cab of I have a Crew Max. So anything in the back cab will be like clothes and food and things. And then everything in the back will be stuff I probably don't need to get at per se. And then I'm going to bring my rooftop tent ladder so that I can just open up my rooftop tent and then access from the ladder, and then I can get into the main cab below my rooftop tent, and I don't have to open the tailgate because it's a pain in the butt. And I know it's a pain in the butt, but I just tired of hauling a utility trailer. And the biggest things in the back of my truck are gonna be like obviously gas for the dirt bike. It's a 2-stroke, so mixed gas. I have 2 5-gallon tanks there, and then a generator so that I can recharge cameras and stuff like that. And I'll have 2 big coolers in the back, 145 quart, 2 of them, and any extra miscellaneous stuff, a backup bow, stuff like that. And I can lock the back of my truck real well with the Go Fast system. So be careful of your backup bow, keeping it inside your truck. If you're going to leave your truck in the hot sun, you could just cook your strings. I like to bake my backup bow, literally like leave it in the back of my truck before season, get those strings baked, leave it out in the sun on these hot summer days, and then just kind of double check the tune before we leave. Uh, Probably not supposed to share this, but not going to get the new 2026 Matthews bow until I think about the day before I leave, which is not ideal. It's less than ideal. So my job, and like last year, I didn't get it in time, and so I just left. And then I had Josh Jones come over to my ELKSHAPE studio and build my bow for me. He knows all my specs. And then he gave it to my buddy Tyler, who met up with me. But I don't have anyone to meet up with this year, so I need that bow. And I don't know what it is. I know nothing. They just have my specs. They send it to me, and so I have to like figure it out on the fly. So for this system, I'll probably just get center shot dialed, tie in my own dually, tie in my D loop, my peep, slap all the accessories on, and then just tune it in the field. Like shoot it through paper, get a bolt hole, like I said, center shot, and then I'll just assume that there's gonna be limb shift technology and mess with that broadhead tune in the field. So when we get to New Mexico, it's my dad. He's 69. I'm looking forward to this hunt. I'm not looking forward to this hunt. My dad is somebody that I'm just gonna be worried about him, physically. This is elk country, and my dad's not like an elk shape training kind of guy. My dad doesn't train. My dad's active. He takes care of several horses, and he's got 10 acres that he's very active, but he's not like a guy who rucks a lot and trains and does that kind of stuff. So we've hunted a lot together. We know each other real well. We know that the best system for him and I is quite honestly, for me to get there and kill a bull opening day in New Mexico and a unit I've never been in. That's a big ask, but I'm going to be pretty aggressive and not very picky, try to get a bull, get that tag punched, and then just literally revert back to being his caller. And we're not filming this hunt. Like we don't have a cameraman for that. And I'll talk about filming towards the end. And I'll talk about self-filming. We've had a lot of people ask me how I do it. I'll explain in great depth in this pod. But just getting my dad a bull would be the most important thing. So he's going to like learn the unit. I think he's going to get there about 5 days before it opens to really learn the unit and drive around and go at his pace. And then by the time I get there, he should have several bulls picked out for me to go in and maybe make a move on one, get it packed out, get it on ice, and then be his caller until I have to leave, which then I leave on the 20th of the evening and I drive to Salt Lake. I pick up a cameraman at the airport at Salt Lake. His name's DJ. He is full retainer, so he's a creative for ELKSHAPE, and he's freelance. And he's not a hunter, but I'm bringing him to the Utah hunt with Black Rifle Coffee Company. I'm going to be hunting with Logan Stark and maybe Evan Hafer. I think Evan might be going the week before with Cam and Joe. I can't remember the details, but there's a good chance Evan will hang out in camp at least if we should see him. We'll be doing that hunt. That's going to be a really exciting, fun hunt. And then I think we're done on the 26th there. And then from that point, I got to look at and figure out where I'm at on obviously what have I killed? Have I killed anything yet? What have I done with the elk meat? So my contingency plans for any of my Idaho hunts is to go to Sousa in Rigby and drop off an elk there. And then any New Mexico elk that we kill will be to bring it up to Myers in Salt Lake. Any elk that I kill in Utah, I'm going to most likely head home and take the meat straight home, see the family, and then head back out to Montana and hit Montana, probably more central Montana this year than anything. And hopefully we don't see I don't want to see you guys out there, but if you're out there, good luck to you. But you know how it is. You want to just kind of find a good spot and find some elk that haven't been messed with or aren't being messed with, and hunt them intelligently. So we'll spend quite a bit of time in Montana. That season goes until, I want to say, the 16th of October. So we will hunt that until we have to go home, and then we will go home and get resorted for a hunt in Colorado. I burned all my points in Colorado. I'm going down with a friend. His name's Jeff, and he's taking me to his unit. And so I'm really leaning on him to guide me. To honestly, I shouldn't say the word guide. People think he's not guiding me, but to show me the ins and outs of the unit. And I'm going to bring a bow and a rifle. This is a rifle tag. It's the 15th through the 19th. And I'm pretty much going to be like trying to get it done with a bow. But if it, like I said, I've never stepped foot into this big country in Colorado. If it's just like, Dan, you're not going to get it done with a bow in this short amount of time, then I'll grab, I have a 6.5 PRC that's doped in, ready to go. I have no shame in my game. We will shoot a bull with a rifle. So that's a quick 5-day hunt. And then I come home, take a big, long break. We'll probably start editing some of our footage, and we'll probably do a recap or a series of recaps for each hunt for the podcast. And then I don't have a hunt for quite a while. And then I head down to Montana to do some whitetail hunting with my buddy Sam. And then from there, I'll head back to Colorado to finish up a 4-season mule deer hunt with a rifle. And I'll probably bring a bow on that one as well. So that's kind of my hunt schedule. And then we'll probably connect with my buddy Cody and head down to Texas either in December or December and January. That's what I did last year. I kind of liked going twice. We'll see whatever Cody allows. And that's always just, God, that's a fun hunt. So that's kind of my hunt plan this year. Let's break down self-filming. So the reason why I chose not to have a cameraman is because I just kind of burned through cameramen left and right. Let's talk about all the camera guys I've had in the past. I think I'm still friends with all of them. First one would be Jacob Villasenor. He's awesome. And he was pretty new to filming, but he was very artistic. And he helped me film in Nevada for a mule deer tag one year. He helped me film Nevada elk hunt one year. And I feel like we might have done some bear stuff. I can't remember exactly, but he was great, but he had a real job. He's still in the military. And he just was just like my first camera guy. So I always just hold him near to my heart. We're still friends. In fact, I talked to him probably we text back and forth about him and sometime in July, in fact. So still stay in touch with him. He's married now, and I'm hoping he moves back to the States. I think he's stationed in Hawaii. Then Tim Connor came along, and we've talked about him in the past. He has a YouTube channel. Check it out. Tim is really creative, and he came to me and kind of pitched me like, hey, I'm starting out. I'd love to help you with your channel, and let's see where it goes. And you guys know the backstory on that. And then Tim was never able to really film me elk hunting. And I think we both knew that it would be detrimental to our business relationship and our friendship because of Tim and I are just complete opposites when it comes to strengths and weaknesses physically. I have way more endurance. He has way more power and strength. And
Trail cams just changed forever. With Stealth Cam Live View, you don't wait, you watch, real time. With 360-degree coverage, real-time streaming to your phone, and unmatched image clarity and battery life, you're always in position. From full circle vision, elite 4K detail, and non-stop dual-core performance, Stealth Cam gives you the tools for success. Real time, real intel, no rivals. The all-new line of trail cameras by Stealth Cam.
Hey guys, Pedram here with Wilderness Athlete. Dehydration in the field doesn't just slow you down. It clouds your judgment, it zaps your energy levels, and it can turn a great day into a bad situation. That's why hunters all over the West trust Wilderness Athlete's hydration system. Hydrate and Recover keeps your body running right, energy and focus sharpens your mind when that fatigue starts to set in, and Rescue Hydration, that's what you reach for when things go from tough to dangerous. Mix it with a little Hydrate and Recover and you're back on your feet in no time. Whether it's long hikes, brutal heat, tough packouts, or just staying sharp with day 4 of the hunt. Stay ahead of it. Fuel up like it matters, because it does. Head over to wildernessathlete.com to learn more.
Hey guys, I'm gonna interrupt this podcast real quick. Dan doesn't know it. Have you guys been hearing what's going on? There's a buzz out there right now about initial ascent, and it has to do with carrying heavy loads more comfortably. If you're tired of your back giving you all that pain, you can't recover quick, just come try one of our packs out. We got them all different sizes from a 3K, 5K, 8K. Any size that you need, we can fit you. Check it out.
I just didn't think he would probably like the pace I run at in elk hunting. Most people wouldn't. And so we just mainly stuck to making YouTube videos. So we did a few hunts together, but they're more like deer style hunts and bear hunts. Nothing like elk hunting. Just it was never really an option. And then Jake Webb came along, and eventually during COVID, I think he essentially lost his welding job, and I hired him on full time at ELKSHAPE. And he was just a guy that he's my friend. In fact, he's coming to this weekend to hang out and camp with us, his family and my family. So we still stay in touch, but he'd be the first to tell you, like, he's not on that level when it comes to like filming and cinematic, and he doesn't know how to edit. And so he's just kind of a guy that could physically keep up and have a great attitude and grind it out, which is so important, and hit record and get the shot, but not a guy that could edit or really put together anything cinematic. Then we brought Jeff Dodds. Jeff Dodds moved over here from Montana to work for ELKSHAPE full time. He lasted just under a year. He did a really good job. I think he learned a lot along the way, and he took his talents elsewhere, quite honestly. Like, he came to me and wanted to go freelance after last year, and I just kind of, said, that's great. I'm probably not going to hire you as a freelance since I'm already have you on salary, and you want to go do other things, go do other things. And that's what he's doing. I think he works for Josh Jones, quite honestly, mostly, and he does other freelance, but he still lives in town here. I still stay in touch with him, and he's doing his thing, which I couldn't be happier for him. And I wish he hadn't gotten hurt last year. I think he would have been able to keep up better, but he definitely like almost broke his ankle. And so it was just a rough September for him. And I think he's gotten way better since last year too. So good on him. And then we had Riley come and intern, and then we hired Riley, and Riley's still working here as a contractor part-time. Riley is 19. Riley wants to be a lawyer. Riley wants to be a pilot. Riley has these goals, and I told him that as your uncle, I'm not gonna let ELKSHAPE get in the way of your goals. And so he just picked up a job as a paralegal. He'll be doing a lot of days in court. I think he's going to not be able to elk hunt with me this year because he's got a kind of a grown-up job, and plus he's flying his plane. And so he's going to just do contract work on, he'll be the one editing this podcast. He'll be the one helping me with my business, which I'm greatly appreciative of. And he'll be hunting locally this year, close to home. And that's fine. You got to do what you got to do. Career for some people should be prioritized over elk hunting, probably most of you. And I get it. So Riley's off the table. We had plans to have him kind of film most of my September. And then once we came to that, I decided to hire a different guy named DJ, who's super pro. You guys will see when he films a Utah hunt what he's capable of. Probably the best videographer, photographer I've worked with to date, which is crazy. I've worked with some talented people, but he's just a pro, and he's not really a hunter, but he's very physically fit. So I think we're going to give him a chance to kind of get, broken into the hunting scene in Utah in a very controlled environment. And then that means I was like, it's up to me to film the rest of the Public Land Hustle, which I'm okay with self-filming if you guys are okay with putting up with a vlog style elk hunt. So how am I going to film this? Well, carefully. For me, it's mainly trying to document the struggle of how hard elk hunting is on public land. I'm going to run into other hunters. I'm going to run into other curveballs. Animals aren't going to do what I want them to. The conditions are going to change. Weather will move in, weather will move out. Water sources will be there, water sources will be gone. Hunting pressure will move elk and dictate what they do. And so I just want to journey and document how I sift through the BS and stay positive and work hard and come home with no regrets. That to me defines a successful season. Having all these tags, these are tags that, obviously I'm burning a lot of points this year. Obviously I got lucky in the New Mexico draw. Obviously I got lucky in Montana draw. Like there's a luck involved. So not every year looks like this, but when you have years like this, you got to Enjoy each hunt and focus just on each hunt as they come. You cannot be looking ahead. And that just means every day doing all the little things right and taking zero shortcuts. If you need to hike 3 miles further to get the wind right, then do that. If you need to get up 3 hours earlier to be in a better position, then do that. If you need to stay up 3 hours later to night bugle, then you have to do that. That's what I mean by the little things, doing them right and not taking shortcuts. So if the wind isn't right, then don't go get in the tree stand or don't put a saddle there. Back out, things like that. So I want to hunt really intelligently this year. I don't want to just rely on my grit and my mental toughness. I really want to be intelligent and I want to be strategic. When it comes to self-filming, I'm going to have a primary camera that's a Pocket Gimbal 3. I have a Pocket Gimbal 1.0. That's still something I will use on my hunt, and I will set that up. I'll carry it, and I use that for time lapses. There's a mode in there where you can have that thing pan a certain amount of time and duration and get incredible time lapses, which help with transitions when you're trying to tell a story. It shows that time has gone by. It's shown that you're on to the next day. So you'll see that in my edits. I like to use time lapses from the Pocket Gimbal, especially on any type of days where there's sunrises, sunsets with clouds, things like that. Or if I'm glassing at a position for like an hour, I want to show that I spent some time there versus a quick clip. The Pocket 3 has a built-in receiver, so audio-wise, I'll be carrying DJI Mic 2s. I also have DJI Mic 1s that I can use with my DSLRs, but audio is really important, so I'll be having to balance wireless mics, batteries, and a DJI Pocket 3. Then I will be using DJI Action 5s. I have 2 of them, plus an Action 3. The Action 3 will probably live in my truck to capture driving. I can have it facing me. I can have it facing out. I have a spot on my dirt bike helmet to show driving, riding in, riding out. The Action 5s, I usually like to put one somewhere on my shoulder strap where it doesn't interfere with my bow shot that I can turn on. And then I have a head cam as well. I don't always wear that head cam. I'll put it on when I hear bugles or if I know I'm moving in, and that'll be my camera that probably gets the shot. DSLR-wise, I'll bring an A7S III. I'll use that for anything tripod at the truck or anything cinematic. I will have it in my pack. If we get an animal killed, I will take recovery photos with that, and I'll try to use that as much as possible because to me, the DSLR is king for everything. And for that one, I'll have wireless mics as well as a shotgun attachment. So my pack's always a little bit heavier when you're carrying all that camera gear. That's the price to pay to document your hunt. And then I still use my iPhone. I think I have an iPhone, I want to say 16, whatever the latest iPhone is I have at the time of this recording. And I'll vlog with that. But I vlog with the Pocket Gimbal 3 because it can lock in your face and keep it steady and tilt lock, do all these sorts of really good things. And my goal is to document, talk to the camera, explain what I'm doing, what I'm thinking, the emotions I'm going through, and the stuff I'm overcoming or trying to overcome. I'm going to bring a Starlink Mini. I have one, and that is a game changer for me when you hunt that many days away from home. Gives me an opportunity when I do return back to the truck to FaceTime with the family and to really just, see their faces. That really changed the momentum for me last year, and it helps me stay in touch. I actually don't have an inReach anymore. I got rid of my inReach. I use the satellite text system from the iPhone 16, which I have tested and vetted. I can pretty much get a text out anywhere if I don't have service, which is fine. And it's kind of like one of those deals where you just have to manage your battery levels. I run the Dark Energy Poseidon. I literally have probably 10 of those things. So they're all fully charged. I always have one in my pack at all times. I keep one at base camp, and then the rest are in totes, things like that. Clothing systems this year, I'm excited that Born Primitive has finally dropped the Bottomland breakup. So I'll be wearing Bottomland camo quite a bit, mainly on the top layers. I'm not so concerned about wearing bottom layers. And then for boots, I'm going to be trying out those, they're Upland. They're like a Laponia, but they're like leather. The Uplands are the new boot for me. I'm trying Flex Rating 2. I've got some miles on them already. I'm going to be doing a big 6-mile ruck tomorrow with them. prior to season. I still bounce back to the Colorado 2s quite a bit and the Summit 2s and Laponia 3s. So I kind of shift through boots quite a bit. And then I just put my food bags together for the season, and we're looking at about 3,500 calories a day. I would say like 70, almost 70% of my calories come from carbs. I'm getting a lot of my protein from my RTD. That's a ready to drink protein in the morning for breakfast, and protein in my dinner from Peak, Refuel, or Foundation Outdoors. But I don't have a lot of protein throughout the day. It's mainly just carbs. That's what I run on. And for water systems, I don't do a bladder through the backpack tube. I run Nalgene's. I always have a 32 ounce on my hip. Oh, by the way, Initial Scent came out with a new water bottle holder. I highly recommend. It's a significant upgrade from their original design. I just got that. That's going to be huge. And then I run a Nalgene, like I have a 60 or a 48 ounce Nalgene, a bigger one inside my backpack. And I run pretty light as far as minus the camera gear. I don't have a lot of stuff in my pack. I just have basic stuff like kill kits and a fire starter kit and a first aid kit with, some meds, ways to stop bleeds, including a tourniquet. And that's really it. Like just your basics. We'll be running the Initial Scent 5K. I don't know if I'll have the actual bag on my frame. I'll probably run the pannier system with the oversized lid as much as possible. If I am spike camp hunting this year, I'm going to be running a new shelter from Peaks, which I'll talk about in the field. So it's a little teaser. It's a 1P. That's all I can say for now. That's going to be my go-to spike camp. And I don't spike out unless I have to. I don't mind a couple extra miles to get back to my rooftop tent where all my food and coffee and everything's at. Coffee will be Black Rifle, of course. Discount code ELKSHAPE20. Shameless plug. Please support this veteran-owned and ran company that is Pro 2A. Starbucks is not. And then, we may be spiking out or whatever, but it's kind of a big push this year. When it comes to documenting all that, I bring a hard drive and a laptop that I have to kind of keep an eye on for charging, but I'll dump cards every 3-4 days. I have pretty big memory cards, like 256 gig cards, micro SDs and all my DJI products, 256 gigger in my A7S III. And so mainly it's just keeping the mics charged is my number one concern, and my cell phone. I want good audio. I want the pocket always full battery. And I'll be editing this year. I might not wait so long. Well, it just depends. I don't know. We'll see. It depends on what you guys want. If you want the Public Land Hustle to hit earlier than it did last year, that's fine. But typically I like to edit those because I was there. And like last year, I just didn't have time to edit it until later in the year. And we'll see how it happens and how it unfolds and things like that. As far as content for YouTube, I didn't make a bunch of extra content to be published while I'm in the field this year. And I'm okay with that. I'm just mainly going to just hunt my buns off, try to kind of stay off the radar and take a significant break from the internet as much as possible. I just kind of need that because I have to do that so much throughout the year as it is. Right now, at the time of this recording, so every day I've kind of dedicated about an hour or 2 hours to doing things that'll help me with elk hunting. So obviously shooting my bow and working out, but like putting my food systems together, getting my tote systems out, going through gear, double checking, writing things down, e-scouting. Like there's so much to do that it can become overwhelming if you leave it till like last week of August to kind of scramble. And I'm not going to do that. That's not my style. So I've been kind of each day chipping away. And I feel like I'm starting to really make some headway on what this is going to look like. And I know that August flies by for me. So this week I'm not antelope hunting this year. I'm really focusing on like my wife's turning 40 this weekend. Like I said, we're having a big party for her, going camping. And then I come back and we have a couple more weekends and then it's go time. So I'm just trying to lock in with family, spend as much time with them as possible. Because I owe it to them. I'm going to be withdrawing big time. Probably the most this will be the most I've ever been gone. And I've been gone, I think my record's 30 days straight. I think we'll be beating that this year. As far as your guys' elk hunting questions go, I'll just kind of run through some things I've been seeing on the DMs. So a lot of people want to know, what is my total arrow weight this year for elk? It is 460. The primary broadhead is an iron will standard single bevel 125. My vanes are the hybrid HPs. I flesh them with the Arizona Easy Mini Max. So it's about a 5-degree offset to the left, matching the bevel. I'm using the Podium 2-piece collars on the Parallel Pro X10s, so 4mm arrow. Just love that arrow. It's hard for me to get away from it when I know that they're just so money. And then in the back of the quiver, I have 2 hides with their glue-ins with their collar, and it weighs the same, 460. And I've already tested and vetted. They're all grouping well. And when it comes to bow poundage, it's at, well, 80. And I typically double check and make a sight tape right before I leave. I'll do that probably last week of August. So I literally will shoot my arrow and get a whiz by speed at about 20 yards and 85, 90 yards. So I got to shoot over my chrono. I lost the attachment for my lab radar. So now I'm kind of just stuck with the Garmin, which can be troublesome. But lately I've been able to get the Garmin to read my flights as long as I back up 10 yards off the target. Been getting good to go results. And I just plug in that data in precision cut archery and spit out a sight tape. So if you think your sight tape from July is going to match up September 1st and you shoot as much as I do, I think you're mistaken. You're going to lose some speed eventually. I'm running System X, but still I know that when I put System X on originally, I was at about 82.5 pounds. And right now we're down to 80. So that's why I want to double check right before I go. And then obviously maybe that new bow, we got to see what that's all about. Building a sight tape for that is probably not going to be, it just depends on how much time I have, honestly. And I'm excited. I'm always excited to shoot the new bow, like straight up. So I don't want to talk too much about it because I know enough, but I just don't want to get myself in trouble. And yeah, I got to be quiet about it. So I'm excited. What else we got? So we got the arrow. The other question I was getting is what release aid I'm going to use. I'm going to use an index. I'm using the Solix clicker. I've been using that pretty much exclusively since I got home from Montana Tack. Montana Tack, I use my backup bow, the original lift, and I use that thumb button for that. And for me and my anchor points, I can't go back and forth between a thumb and an index. They're just 2 different hand positions, so I have to move the peep up quite a bit for an index, which is great. I gain yardage, but I'm going to run an Excel landslide, not the driver. So Excel landslide will be my primary sight. QAD MX2 integrate. I love that. A 1-piece quiver from Matthews. And I'm weird on my Lift X. I do have the Mountain Series 15-inch bar with a 10-degree drop with about 3 ounces in the front. And then I have the Matthews Bridge Lock adjustable V-bar with 7 ounces on the back, and it's the longer bar. I just like that. That's why I'm doing it. And then my backup bow is the Lift, and it has the Excel driver on it, MX2, 1-piece quiver, and I have AE Mountain Stabilizer Series on both front and back, similar weights. So that bow is set up with Easton 5.0s, so different system completely, but it's all tuned and ready to go, and that is my backup bow. And it's all earth, so if you see any content with me with an all earth lift, something happened to my Lift X. And I've had that happen before, where I've messed my primary bow, something's wrong with it, I did something to it, and I got to go to my backup bow. So take a backup bow, guys. If you're worried about your backup bow, like getting too hot in the back of your truck, then go hide it in the bushes, seriously, and put your keys near it so you can't drive off with it. I've done that in the past. Or lock it with a chain to your truck and put it underneath your truck so it's just not getting baked in the sun. I'll be using all brand new sharp broadheads. I don't reuse broadheads, so I have all practice broadheads, and then brand new broadheads should be good to go. Yeah, that's kind of the system. That's kind of the plans this year. I'm curious to see how many miles I put on my truck. It's a lot of driving. I'm thinking it'll be a 5,000 mile elk bender this year. And I hope to capture really good content and tell a compelling story. I want to showcase how hard it is. I want to showcase how hard I work in the mountains. And I want to showcase some decisions I make that are good, some that are bad, and how I respond to those. Leaning on some experience, what my gut says, making fast decisions, and hunting solo and giving it everything I got. That's all it takes, right? So this short pod, just want to give you guys a breakdown on what we got this year, what you expect to see in the future, and I look forward to sharing in your success. So hopefully be safe, have fun, come home with zero regrets, know that you gave it everything you had every day, and that all that preparation paid off through delayed gratification. Keep your phone off Instagram, man. You're just gonna see a bunch of people having success, and you're gonna get this perception that everyone's getting an elk but you, and that's not how it works. Remember, that's a highlight reel, and not everyone lives in highlight reel land. We're all gonna have to work for it, and because it's a struggle and because it's difficult, that's what makes it so special. Separation's in the preparation. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you on the next one.